Welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm gonna share with you guys exactly how much I spent versus how much I made 2 weeks playing on the LET Access tour. For the first week, we are out here in Switzerland. This is my first time here, so I was super excited because I've always heard very good things about it, and that's very beautiful, and it definitely did not disappoint because look at these mesmerizing views. So since we are early, I decided to take the long way. It took us about 2 hours instead of about 1 hour and 20 minutes. However, because we didn't pay the tolls and stuff, we did save a bit of cost there. We immediately went to the golf course to make a tea time for the next day. This is the location for the week. Oh, my car is beeping. Oops, it stopped. Staying down there. So here's a quick look at the Airbnb. It's basically the lower level of this house, but it has a kitchen, it has a sofa bed, and it has a huge bed as well. So it was perfect, and yeah, I think it is a great location too. So then we went out to have a little bit of practice, and I was really wondering if that was cutting grass or if it was picking up balls, but turns out it was just cutting grass. But yeah, I just went out to hit a few balls because we were still early, like I said, which I'll talk more about later. And then yeah, we just had a little practice session at the range, hit a few balls, get the body moving. So basically one of the reasons why we came earlier was because of the ticket pricing. It was like ridiculously different between flying on a certain day and the next day. So I decided to come 2 days earlier because in total I would have saved a lot of cost anyway. So yeah, even though I have to come earlier and pay for an Airbnb, it was like thousands of ringgits cheaper. And for the sake of this video, I'll be using ringgit as well, which is the Malaysian currency. But yeah, we'll talk more about how much I spent later. I just wanted to show you guys my week as well as obviously the topic of this video, which is how much I spent. So some of you guys might also be wondering, like, why would I want to share this kind of information? I think that it's very important, and I don't know how many of you guys maybe have heard me say this, but one of the reasons why I started YouTube was actually because I wanted to share a little bit more about my life on tour. Unfortunately, obviously, when I started YouTube, it was during the pandemic, so I wasn't traveling. I was doing more of vlog style, but now that I'm competing full-time on tour, I think it is very interesting to be able to kind of show you guys a little insight into my life. Let me know if you guys do like that or not. I also, at the same time, I do not really have a lot of time to film YouTube vlogs at the moment, so I hope you guys are enjoying this content because I feel like it was kind of hard for me to get this information when I first turned pro, and you know, there wasn't really anything out there for people to look up as to what you need to do when you turn pro and how life is going to be on tour. So anyway, let's continue with the video. The next day we proceeded to play the practice round. So this was my first practice round, and it was an unofficial practice round technically because like I said, this was the Monday, so we were still a little bit early, but they did allow us to play a practice round for free, so that was super nice. And yeah, the course is it's very flat, but there is a lot of rough, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's not really rough because it's like if you are in that, you are goner. Like there's no way you're finding your ball, so it's basically fairway or goner. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. Even though it looked pretty flat and there was like nothing much to it, it was still definitely a challenging golf course layout. I don't know what this means, but does that mean that you're supposed to drink from this? That's kind of weird. Looks fresh though. The donkey's coming. Hi! Hi, Eeyore! Oh my god, it's literally coming here. Oh my god, it's so cute. How about a 205-yard par 3 into the wind? Almost hit a 3-wood there. So after the first practice and just having a first look at the course, I went to do a bit of putting, did a bit of pace. The greens were a little bit slower, so yeah, just needed to get the pace out there, and then yeah, just look at this amazing view. Then we wanted to go get some groceries, and we ended up over here, and apparently it is some castle. I mean, that's just literally Switzerland. I mean, we literally drove less than 10 minutes away because there was a grocery store there, and we ended up at a castle. Like, how crazy is that? But yeah, since we were there and it was such a beautiful day, we decided we had to walk around and explore. So we hiked up to the castle, and I was clearly not prepared because I was wearing slippers, but it wasn't a bad hike anyway. We basically just walked upstairs, but it was very nice, and then we saw random sheep, and we made it up to the top of this castle. Let's see the view. There you go. And then we walked further and found this little thing that they were selling jam at. You basically just take whatever you want and leave the cash there. Crazy. And then we walked by these sheep again and they look so weird. I think it's because they were shaved. But yeah, so after that we just went home. Super spoiled this week because we actually have a washer. I literally just showered, that's why I look like this. But it's not very often that we have our own washer, and you actually end up spending quite a bit of money on like laundry. Yeah, it's usually going to be like close to like $10, so it adds up pretty quickly. So it's super nice to have our own little laundry place here this week. So then the next day we went out to have another practice round. So yeah, again, as you can see, working a lot on putting because the greens were kind of bumpy, so I knew that that was going to be a challenge. In addition to the tee shots, like I mentioned earlier, like your tee shots definitely need to be accurate. Like you can see here, your tee shots can end up in those things and there is no way you're finding the ball out of that. So yeah, anyway, after that I just went home and cooked because you do save a lot of cost cooking. So I just threw whatever I could find together here and tried to make roasty, which is apparently a Swiss dish, but I found it in the grocery store, so I tried to make it. It was not that bad. But then anyway, after that, it was day one of the tournament. And I'm not going to talk too much about my play here, my tournament play, but I do think that I might create a separate video. Let me know if you guys are interested to listen to that, because I actually shot 79 on the first day and shot 69 on the second day to make the cut. And I kind of knew I had to shoot 69, so I feel like that would be quite an interesting video to share with you guys as well. Just basically my thoughts on how I did that and what goes through your mind when you shoot 79 and you know you need to shoot 69 on the next day to make the cut. So let me know if you guys are interested to watch that video. But after shooting 69, we had this for dinner, a little treat for making the cut. Yeah, and then so we headed out for the final day and I shot 72. So I ended up playing 4 over for that tournament and finished 42nd. So it wasn't an amazing finish, but it was pretty good considering the first round that I had. So that concludes the first week in Switzerland. Alright, so let's break down some of the essential costs for the week. Like I said, I flew in earlier, so my flight was actually 3,300 ringgit, which was half the price that I would have spent. So most of the time tournament starts on like Thursday, so when you would have to fly in on Sundays or Saturdays, they end up being more expensive. Because for me, I also need to take into consideration that it takes for about a day. So usually it takes over 20 hours for me to get to the destination. So I have to consider leaving a day earlier, because when I reach Europe, I actually lose a day. So yeah, it gets a little bit complicated with flights, but I just kind of have to weigh the options, see whichever makes the most financial sense, and also whether it will make up for the car rental and Airbnb to go earlier. For the car rental, I got it at a very good rate. This is very cheap for the car rentals that I've seen in Europe. And for the Airbnb, I think it is pretty standard. On the cheaper side, you can probably get one for around 2,000 ringgit, but because of the location, all the Airbnbs there were pretty expensive. So the base cost for this week was around 8,000 over ringgit, and the total take back that I got from making the cut was about 1,500 ringgit. So as you can see here, even making the cut, you definitely lose a substantial amount of money. But I don't want this to seem like such a downer video, so let's keep watching and we will have more news at the end of this video. It's currently like 1:30 in the morning. Got like 2 hours of sleep because I need to drive 2 hours to the airport. So next up, we are en route to Sweden via Copenhagen. So we had to take an early morning flight because of the flight prices, but this was the first flight that I was on that people were not wearing masks, so it almost felt like weird to wear a mask. But yeah, I'm just used to it. I'm from Asia, we all wear masks still, so yeah, whatever. Anyway, and then I saw this bridge and I was like, oh my gosh, I think that's the bridge that we're going to use to cross over to Sweden from Copenhagen. So yeah, it's super cool because there looks like there's no ending. So finally, we made it to Copenhagen Airport, went through customs, drove through the tunnel, and drove underwater. Like I said, it was really cool because, I mean, you really didn't feel like you were underwater. And then we made it through Sweden, and oh my gosh, the sight of the yellow flowers, also known as rapsolha. I don't know how you pronounce it, but basically rapeseed oil. And then we made it to our beautiful Airbnb. The place for the week, so cute. We go in. very modern, super nice. So cute. Look at this. What a spot. The rental car got a free upgrade. It's a brand new car. I had like 7 kilometers on it. It's actually really nice to drive. I've never seen this car before, but really nice. Snälla fimpa I eskopen nikotin kaninen försöker sluta röka. Tack! After we settled in, took a drive to the golf course just to check it out, make a tea time for the next day, and look at some beautiful horses that were surrounding the golf course. So pretty. After that, we went home and our Airbnb host told us to take a walk down this street to see the Repsola because, oh my gosh, it is such a sight. And apparently they're only there for 2 to 3 weeks and we came at the bloom of it. So they're just amazing. It was so yellow. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a field of yellow like this yellow before in my life. So we asked the guy at the golf course just now what the name of these yellow plants were, and he was like, it's not a good word in English, it's rape. And I was like, what? And then she said, oh yeah, we make an oil out of it. And I was like, oh, rapeseed oil. And then yeah, it was so funny because he was like, great, so now I'm gonna tell everyone we have rapeseed oil instead of rape because it doesn't sound right to say we have a lot of rape in our fields. Then we just enjoyed the evening with the rapeseed because it was just, literally spectacular. And sometimes you just need a breather and a break from it all. And we start the next day with an official practice round out here in Trelleborg. Welcome to the first tee box. Here we are. First practice round. So you can see some of the thick stuff here, not as bad as the week before, but definitely have some in play. And just the beautiful rapeseed, amazing. Then we went to IKEA because, we're in Sweden, so we had to try IKEA Sweden. It was really good. I felt like the meatballs tasted better. And then to finish off the day, I got this as my fortune, so yeah. And then for the next day, I wanted to go a little bit later because I don't know if you could tell, but the first practice round conditions were very still. And I know that in Sweden, that's not going to be the case. So yeah, it definitely got a lot windier the next day. And it was crazy how different the hole changed. It was like you could be hitting a 48-degree wedge one day and hitting a 6-iron the next day. So yeah, that was definitely one of the biggest challenges playing out here, the conditions and the temperatures. And then this week I was actually in for the Pro-Am, so we came for the Pro-Am day and it was even windier, so it was actually great practice because this was the conditions that I needed to feel because I knew that the tournament was going to be like this. After the Pro-Am, we went to the grocery store to get some groceries, and dang, Swedish people love their candy. And then I saw this and it said Princess Wiener. So I first got this because I thought it was like Swedish, and I always like going to places and trying food or drinks from their places. So it's called Trocadero. I think if you're Swedish, obviously you know what it is. It's a Swedish drink. And initially I thought it was like a sparkling apple juice. And when I had my first sip, I was like, oh, this tastes so weird. And then I realized after a few sips, I realized exactly what it tastes like, which is like those Coca-Cola candies. If you've ever had them, it's like gummies. And it is like soup. It's exactly the taste of a Coca-Cola gummy. And it's so funny, but now I actually really enjoy it. So Trocadero, if you're in Sweden, gotta try it. Routine after walking all day. So finally it was tournament day and I ended up shooting 71, 74, 78 to finish 21st this week. The score seemed pretty bad, but that was because the conditions progressively got worse as the week went on. On the final day, it was raining and it was windy, so the rain was going sideways. It was literally like I would be hitting driver 3-wood on holes where I would normally be hitting driver pitching wedge, and I would not even reach the green, so it was kind of ridiculous. But yeah, that's golf. Hey guys, Jen here. Welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've been on here. I have been busy traveling, as you guys can see, and this is just a video that I've wanted to make for a while, and I think the timing is perfect in relation to the news that I'm going to share at the end of this video as well. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well, And like I said at the beginning of this video, one of my main intentions starting YouTube was always to share my content of life on tour, because I feel like it's something that people don't really share. I mean, I think there's two sides. People either know how difficult it is, or people just assume it's all like, oh, it's super fun, you travel to beautiful places, you know, you travel every week and you get to play golf, like life is so easy. I would rather be doing that. Like, I think part of it is, yes, like there is nothing I would rather be doing, and I'm so lucky to be able to pursue this career, but I wanted to show you guys the reality of it. And I think part of it is important because, like what I just showed you guys, like I played 2 weeks on the LET Access Tour, which, like you guys know, I was playing on from the beginning of this year, and I played 2 weeks, made the cut both weeks, and lost about 7,000 ringgit both weeks. So I think that is the main reality of an access tour or step up tour, or to be honest, most women tours still to this date. You know, we are not going out there for, well, our purse could be 2 million, but the winner is not going to get 2 million, which is kind of what the men are playing for, which is pretty insane. But I mean, I have hopes that eventually the women will catch up. It is what it is. But yeah, you know, I think it is a bit of a different world between the men and the women. You can play well as a woman professional golfer and still not make any money. Furthermore, if you are on a mini tour, like it is almost impossible to make money. You can ask anybody on a mini tour, breaking even for the week is good news. So I think that is part of the reality that not a lot of people think about or, you know, understand, because I think also one of the things is that it's always been kind of taboo to talk about money. And the thing that I find about it is that, to be honest, if you really used Google, you can kind of look up all this information. You know, you can make an estimate of how much I spend, and you can definitely see how much I make, you know, give or take the taxes, which is usually within 20 to 30%. You can basically know how much I'm making, and you know, it's out there for the world to see. It's on the internet, so I don't find anything wrong with me sharing it because it's already out there. But yeah, I think one of the things that people don't realize is when you're playing on the mini tour, like, it sounds bad to say this because being a professional golfer is my job, but at this moment in time, it is not really my job because it's not making me money, and that is technically what a job should be doing. Like, as for right now, it is more like an investment. You know, it's like you invest towards something hoping to see the returns later on, and let's be honest, not everybody sees the returns. And I think that, you know, how many people are there on tour, like all these people on the LET Access Tour, they are good players. Many of them have been playing on the LET, many of them have won big tournaments. You know, it could just be luck, it could be timing that they are playing on a mini tour now. And it's very difficult because, you know, going out there week in and week out, you are probably going to lose a lot more money than you're making. And that's difficult to play golf, you know, knowing that you're just basically spending money all week. Money is always going to be a topic for people like me, people in my shoes. Like, there's no avoiding it because we need money to survive. No matter what people say, like, even if you try not to focus on the money is always going to be a topic of concern. Our main goal would be to start making golf our jobs. And even for people on the LPGA tour, I can tell you, you know, yeah, sure, the winners might be making money, but, you know, people still rely on sponsorships to make money. You're not going to make, definitely you're not going to make what the men are making. And even if you do make money, you spend so much that you're probably still covering the cost that you've already spent. And, you know, obviously when you win that one tournament and they have that breakthrough win, you don't even think about the money at that point. You are just so happy to be able to do that money doesn't come into the picture until after, when you're like, oh wow, I just finally covered the cost and now I can start making money. I think, like, until people have achieved that point of their career, which I have not achieved that point, it is just a whole different world out there. I don't know, I mean, I still get the comments, you know, people think I'm out on vacation, that I'm enjoying life, traveling, I got so much money that I can do this. Honestly, I'm investing what I have. Like, it's not that I have a lot of money, it's just that I'm choosing to invest what I have, which, you know, I know that every week I'm losing 7,000 ringgit. That means I can't do this forever if that keeps on happening. So I need to invest, but at the same time I need to be able to set goals for myself, because I can't be doing this forever. But which leads me to my next point, which is a little less, depressing, is that from this moment onwards, I am officially a Ladies European Tour main tour player. So for those of you guys that don't know, basically every tour, during a season, there's always going to be reshuffles, just changes depending on the tour. It could be sometimes in May, sometimes in July. It really depends on what tour you're playing. But because I got into 2 of the LET events in Australia and I performed pretty decently, I was able to get reshuffled, and now I am going to be able to play in a lot more of the main tour events, which is super great news for me, because first of all, obviously main tour prize money is going to be a lot higher, but I think it does make a difference to be able to play and know that if you play well, you're actually going to be able to at least cover most of your costs for that week. I think it's very stressful to be going out there each week and thinking, oh gosh, I've already spent 15,000 and this week I would need to win to make 15,000. Like, it's difficult. It's difficult life, and if you're not doing it, I don't think you will understand. A lot of people just think, oh, you get to play golf, that's great, that's what I want to do. But people don't really see the behind the scenes of it, which is what I'm here to share. So I hope that you guys enjoy a little bit of some different content as well, now that I'm living life on tour. And like I said, it's always something that I've wanted to share with you guys. I don't think there's much representation of this life that I'm living out there. Bryson DeChambeau's sharing content of life on tour, but as you can imagine, his life on tour is a little bit different from mine. So yeah, in addition to that, during my time playing in these tournaments, I've gotten quite a few messages from people actually asking how they can support me. Since last year, everybody on Team Jen has been, I don't know, for me it's still surreal to be able to have 40,000 of you guys here that are supporting my journey. I feel like growing up, I've always had the smallest team, which consisted of my family, and now I feel like I have one of the biggest teams out there, because I have 40,000 people supporting me and wanting to see me do well. So because of that, I am starting a Go Get funding, which is what I did last year. There is no end date, there's no goal for this Go Get funding. It's basically for people who want to support my career. Like I said, I'm investing what I have right now into my career. Once that runs out, I'm hoping that it doesn't, because I want to keep playing this game and there's still so much that I want to achieve. But because of that, I've learned that even though growing up I've always learned to not take charity from people, I've learned that as a golfer, I need to understand that not only am I doing this for myself, but I'm also doing it for other people, and I think that people do see the value in that. And I hope to keep sharing my journey, and I hope that you guys will continue being on this journey. As for right now, I have zero concerns of posting content just to grow my YouTube channel and things like that. I feel like I would rather have, it's same like golf, quality over quantity, and I feel like I have a quality group of people here, people who are supporting me, who are behind me, and I think that I have zero concerns to grow my channel. I'm very happy with where I am right now. So, and that's because, like I said, I feel like everybody on here supports me, and I think it is so rare to be able to start social media and have a group of people support you, and to me that's still surreal. Most of you guys have more confidence in me than I do in myself, and that has really helped me. I think that in itself, to see how people trust me, trust my swing more than I trust myself at some point, it's kind of like a knock in my head and being like, Jen, people can see it, all you have to do is get out of your own way. So yeah, anyway, before I ramble on forever, this fundraiser is going to be there basically to support my career. So if you guys are interested in donating anything, it's up to you. Either way, I'm very grateful for everything that I've received from you guys, whether it be through money, whether it be through just kind words. And yeah, you guys don't know how much it means to just see people supporting. And yes, I do read the comments of people, supporting you during tournaments, and keeping track of you and just wanting to see you do your best. So I really do hope to keep making this kind of content for you guys, as well as the other content that you guys initially subscribed for. And I also hope to keep making Team Jen proud and to keep reaching new heights, because I feel like I'm not only doing this for myself and, like I said earlier, investment in my career, but I think that not only comes in the form of winning and things like that, but also in the form of the amount of people that I'm able to reach. And that might not be a number, but if it reaches the people that it's meant to reach, I think that you are all here for a reason, and we don't know what the reason is yet, but we will be on this journey together and we will find out. So yeah, anyway, before I ramble on forever, thank you guys for watching all the way to this video. The fundraiser will be linked in the bio below if you're interested in donating. And thank you for continuing to be on Team Jen, for watching this video, for supporting my career, and just for being here. Much love.